Okay, so first I had this really crazy looking color scheme here that actually kind of looks like my room used to when I was a kid. But anyhow, I want to know what the measures of angles A, B, so A, B, and ADC are. Well, first of all, I noticed that each of these triangles is equilateral, meaning it has 3 congruent sides. And then I remember the fact that an equilateral triangle is also equiangular. So that means all of these angles have the same value. Whether it's A or whether it's B, they all have the same value. And since every triangle has 180 degrees total, and I have 3 equal angles, I take 180 divided by 3, and I get 60 degrees. So angle A has a value of 60 degrees. And using the same reasoning, angle B is 60 degrees. So the measure of angle A is 60, and the measure of angle B is 60. And also, because this is equiangular, that means all these little angles here are 60. So if you want to know the measurement of angle ADC, you take 60 plus 60, and you get 120, okay? Alright, next problem, the measure of angle A, well, congruent sides, so angle A is 70, because congruent sides means congruent angles. The next one here, well, I have congruent angles, so if this is 53, then this is 53. That was pretty straightforward. I almost feel like it was a trick question. It was so easy. The next one, I have a 30-degree angle here. Now, because I am told these two sides are the same, that means these two angles are the same. Now, you can't assume that unless you know the sides are the same, because some people would have looked at this and said, oh, these angles look the same. But we can only know that they are because the sides were the same and they were marked as being the same. They were congruent. So now I have a 30-degree angle here, and I have 2 angles here that have the same value. So altogether, if I took 30 plus x plus this also has a value of x, I should get 180. Subtract 30. And x plus x is 2x. So I get 180 minus 30 is 150. And if I divide by 2, I get x has a value of, what, 75, I guess? Okay, to find this one, first of all, I see these 2 angles are the same. And I see these 2 sides are the same. That means I have an isosceles triangle with a bisector of its vertex. So since this vertex is being bisected in this isosceles triangle, that means this is a perpendicular bisector. So that's a perpendicular bisector. Also, since these 2 angles are the same, I know this angle is 42. So now I have everything I need because I have a 42-degree angle and I have 180 degrees total. So 180 minus the 42 minus the 90 tells you what you will have left over, and in this case I think it's going to be 48 degrees left over for my x value. Okay, let's do the next one here. Complete each statement and explain why. So VT is congruent to VX because angle T and angle X are congruent. So my reason, angle T congruent to angle X. If the 2 angles are congruent, these 2 large sides are congruent. Okay, UT is congruent to something which is congruent to YX. Well, UT is congruent to UW because their angles are congruent. I'm just going to write angles congruent this time. I should have even used the congruent symbol. So UT is congruent to UW, segment UW, because their angles were the same. But I already know that segment UW is congruent to YX, So that's how they cut out the middleman and wrote that there. Alright? And then VU would be congruent to what? Well, I proved earlier that YX and UT were congruent. I did that up here. So since those are congruent, and I also know VT and Vx are congruent because these angles are congruent. So if I take away these little slivers, the leftover parts must still be congruent. So VU congruent to VY, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Basically, I know these two segments are the same, and I know the totals were the same. So if I subtract the little pieces, my result should still be the same, okay? And that needs a segment marker above it. Okay, VY, or VYU congruent to what? Well, I already proved these two sides were congruent, so VYU is congruent to VUY. So it's congruent to angle VUY. Okay, so that's the last of the problems. I did go through them kind of quickly because I'm kind of tired. I had like 4 hours sleep yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that, for about the past 2 weeks. So I'm kind of tired right now. So that's why every once in a while you'll see me doing this when I talk. It's not that I just think I'm so cool. It's like my head won't stay up straight because I'm kind of tired. So I would like to say I'm going to go lay down, but I'm not. I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and do some more examples for you, and everything's going to be awesome. We've got just a little bit more time left to go. You know, we're making pretty good progress here, and we will be done with Geometry A. We're getting there, guys. So you should be pretty happy about that. I'll be happy because I get some sleep after that. So have a good day.